Greetings and welcome back to the channel, guys. Today, I got a Templar build for you. This is a very, very simple one, and I'm going to show you why that's so simple. It honestly, I'm still like trying to find my way with the Templar here and trying to figure out what I want to do. And this build, honestly, it just works. I just threw it together. It just works. It's fun to play. It's very strong. It has a lot of damage. And yeah, let's just go over it. I'll tell you all about it. So looking at the stats here, 25k magicka, 21k stamina, and 30k health. Not too shabby, I would say. As I always say, if you don't feel comfortable with 30k health, I think it should be enough. But if you don't feel comfortable, feel free to invest a little bit more into it. But for me personally, I get to 30k, and that's usually enough for me, unless I need the health for something very specific. Other than that, 30k will do me just fine. Um, when it comes to recoveries, almost 1100 magicka and over 1200 stamina recovery, unbuffed of course. Um, if you're in Cyrodiil, you get the Cyrodiil buff. You pop your potions. You're going to be way higher, and then of course Templar has other ways of sustaining a little bit better. So sustain really not an issue on this guy at all. Weapon spell damage, 5.7k unbuffed here. This goes up by a lot. I mean, just self-buffed standing here doing this one, we're getting up to almost 9k. And of course, in Cyrodiil, when you have the Cyrodiil buff, and maybe like other people too that throw over a little buff, you're definitely getting over 9k. Like 9k just with the Cyrodiil buff, over 9k, and potentially with like other buffs, you could be looking at like pushing um over 10k. Of course, the 8.7k that we just saw, that's without the weapon damage enchantment on the back bar. With that, you're already going to be over 9k. With the Cyrodiil buff, you're pretty much over 10k. And then whatever people like from your team throw on you, that's just gravy at this point. So tons of damage on this guy. The spell critical and weapon critical not super high. We do have a crit buff, so that goes up a little bit. Spell penetration 10k. It's decent. Nothing too crazy. We also don't have breach on this guy, but you can change that if you want to put breach on. I don't think it needs it. It hits very hard, so 10k will do me just fine. And then when it comes to the resistances, um, pretty decent on a build like this. Going up to 26k, 27k, not too bad. And crit resistance sitting at a cozy 1800. As the Mundus, we got the Lover for the penetration, of course. That's why we're at 10k, which is a pretty good value unbuffed. But yeah. Vampire Stage 1. You don't have to be Vampire if you don't want to, because we're not really using any Vampire abilities. I'm always Vampire on my tunes just because, I'm a vampire. Like, what are you gonna do? Born and raised as a vampire. So that's why I'm vampire. You don't have to be if you don't want to. And as the food we're using, the Bewitch Sugar Skulls, just across the board, nice stats. And like I said, we're not struggling with sustain, so this is absolutely fine. If for some reason you are struggling, you can always look into putting some sustain food on. Feel free, but I think Bewitched is more than fine. Let's look at the gear. So what kind of build is this? This is a Torc build. Torc of the last Ayleid King. What this thing does is it gives you a whole bunch of stats. I mean, 15% damage reduction, 1337 weapon and spell damage, and 500 magic and stamina recovery at all times. But it disables all other set bonuses, so it doesn't matter what sets you put on when you have this thing on. The only thing you kind of want to look for is having the right armor weights. I'm running 5 medium, 1 heavy, 1 light. And then, of course, you want to make sure you have your enchants, whatever enchants you want. Doesn't really matter as long as you end up with the stats that you're looking for, right? Infused weapon damage enchant on the jewelry here. Also, as I said, the set doesn't matter. You just throw on the best stuff that you have, basically. I mean, I have better stuff here too, but I'm a little lazy. Didn't want to grab it. Doesn't make a whole bunch of difference anyway if you have like gold or purple gear. The only area where it really makes a difference is the weapon. You definitely never, ever, ever want to use anything that is not golded out. On the gear, it doesn't make a huge difference. On the jewelry, doesn't make a huge difference. Jewelry a little bit more than the gear, but I would say don't go out of your way, like spending a whole bunch of money just to squeeze out like 1% more stats out of a build. It's not going to change how the build works. In most cases, um, just this teeny tiny bit extra stats that you can get, it's not going to make or break a build. So I would not heavily invest in that if I don't have to. All right. So we're using a maul here, two-handed maul on the front bar sharpened. I got the physical damage enchant, the absorb stamina enchant. You can run whatever you want here, whatever makes sense to you. There's many different options that make sense. This one, of course, is going to proc Sundered when it goes off. It's going to restore some stamina, which kind of helps because my jabs that I'm using are costing stamina, so that kind of helps me sustain that a little bit better. But you can use the Magicka Absorb, or you can do shock damage, or whatever you want to do. Feel free. On the back bar, I would definitely recommend infused with weapon and spell damage, just because it's just free. It's a free 450 weapon and spell damage that you can just get for light attacking. So definitely recommend that. Other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it. Impen if you can, some reinforced maybe to get the armor up. On the gear, infused weapon damage on the jewelry, sharpened here, infused there, and that's it. That's already the gear. Let's look at the skills. So we're using Purifying Light, which is a skill. You put that on an enemy, and it will basically store some damage. You will do damage to them, and it will store some damage. And then after, 6 seconds, it explodes for the amount of damage that it has stored. So this is basically a little burst ability. You always want to keep that up. You want to put that on before you do any like major damage to people, because you want to make sure that the damage you do to them will be stored within that Purifying Light, so it can go off and do a lot of damage, which really helps finishing people off. When you pressure people and they're just barely holding on, but then Purifying Light goes off, that extra burst damage is really going to help you. It also heals in the area after this thing drops, but that's not really important. This is really just for burst damage. Next one is Bloody Soul, scribed skill. Feel free to switch things around here. I got bleed damage over time, and then major defile. There's many different things you can do. You can definitely go disease damage, and disease with the major defile, that goes very well because you can get major and minor defile from that. You can put a stun here. You don't really need to because you already have a stun, but you can put a stun here if you wanted to. Like, whatever feels good to you. And you could also put breach on if you wanted to. I don't think I need to, so I'll just keep the defile because healing is very strong in this game, and sometimes you struggle killing someone because they're just holding on, just barely holding on, just barely enough healing to not die. So putting a major defile on someone can kind of, fix that for you. You make sure that their healing is not high enough anymore, and you can actually finish them off. Next one here, biting jabs. That's the stamina jabs. Hits like a truck. I've seen, like, in no CP, I see these tick for like 3k. It's kind of nutty how much damage they do. They also snare people, and this is your source for major brutality and sorcery, so you want to make sure you keep this up. You don't have to hit people with this. You can just cast this anytime if you want that buff. Maybe you're not in combat right now. Maybe you're like, you just peeled out of combat, but you're not looking so hot. You need to heal. You can just pop this real quick, get that major brutality buff, and then start healing, because that's going to, of course, make your heal stronger. Just so you can keep that in mind. Next one's toppling charge. That's your gap closer, and it also will stun people, which is super nice. Having two really important things in one thing. You have a gap closer and you have a stun, and it also deals damage on top of that. and it gives you major protection. This one is a really nice and strong skill. So the major protection just goes a long way. You know, 10% damage mitigation, and you already have 15% damage mitigation from your mythic, right? So that just stacks very nicely, makes you nice and tanky. So you want to make sure you keep this up. And since this is a stun, you kind of want to hit people with that like every 6 to 7 seconds anyway. Yeah, even if you're close to them, right? The gap closer is just, you know, when you need it. But this is also your on-demand stun. Really nice to set up a combo. The next one, Race Against Time. This is kind of a flex spot. You can put here what you want. I put Race Against Time because Templar is a little slow sometimes. So the extra movement speed definitely goes a long way, and you get minor force, which is nice to have. And yeah, I mean, remove snares and immobilizations. It's good, because I actually don't run Purge on my Templar, believe it or not. I'm not purging. So, you know, this is going to keep you moving and makes you hit a little bit harder. So yeah, quite nice to have. Next one, Everlasting Sweep. This is your ultimate. Super cheap, dirt cheap. Hits fairly hard and keeps going forever. If you just keep hitting people with this, you also have a lot of ultimate gen on this build. Just we're not even building for it. It's just like it's just built into the Templar this patch. You just get a lot of ultimate gen if you do it right. So Everlasting Sweep, in certain situations, you can basically fire off another one before the first one has actually run out of duration. So Everlasting Sweep, it lasts forever. Like, they're not even lying. It lasts forever. It's a really nice one. And the good thing here is really, like, it's so cheap that you can just have this up all the time. Very nice. So on the back bar, Healing Burst. This is your bread and butter heal. I'm not actually using the Templar heals because I think this is just, it's pretty much the same strength. It's a guaranteed heal for you, whereas the Templar heal can sometimes not be a guaranteed heal for you. And you have the chance to kind of stack more stuff into this skill, right? So I'm going for the healing here. Then I'm going for the Templar specific one, which gives you armor and weapon damage, and that increases if you're standing in your sacred ground. So, yeah, very nice. And then also I put Minor Courage on because we're pushing so much weapon spell damage on this thing. I was like, yep, let's just push more. And that's part of the reason why we're basically it just happens just naturally that when you're playing in Cyrodiil, you're just going to be over 10k weapon spell damage. You know, you don't even have to think about it. Next one here, Reflective Light. Basically just some range damage over time that can hit multiple people. The damage on it is not great. Let's be honest here. But it also is a snare, which is quite nice. And it gives you the major savagery buff. So you kind of want that since our crit chance is quite low. So this one will take care of that while also applying some ranged damage over time and snaring people. So absolutely not a bad skill at all. Next one, Resolving Vigor. With you know, with this as the burst heal and this as like the heal over time, you got plenty of heals, and we still have more heals on top of that. But yeah, this is plenty of heals. This is very strong, especially on a build that has this much damage. The Resolving Vigor will actually start getting real nice. We're looking at this here. Yeah, I mean 35k. 35k, and if you're on the front bar, let me, God, where's this thing? There it is. Let me just buff up here completely. Look at the front bar. How high are we getting? Yeah, 36 and a half. Very nice. So that's a very potent heal. Fairly cheap too. And it gives you the minor resolve, which just part of why we can push a decent amount of armor on a build that is not focused on building armor. So really nice. You're getting quite tanky with a build like this, like having the 26k armor plus the basically 25% damage mitigation and stuff like that. it makes you quite tanky. Next one is Solar Barrage. So you could use this as a flex spot if you want to. I I like using this one. It's not great on its own, really. I mean, it does a little bit of like pulse damage around you when you have it. It lasts forever though. That's something I really like. It just stays up forever, so you don't have to like recast this super often. But I think the big thing here is that you do 5% more damage with your class abilities, which just ties into this like high damage build. Just gives you extra power. The empower that you get from this, of course, is absolutely not needed. Does absolutely nothing for you in PvP. But if you want to use this in PvE, this thing hits very hard, and you will get your empower from it if you need it. Next one, restoring focus. This is your source of major resolve. This will restore stamina, and this will heal you when you stand in it. And it's very strong, and it's also part of, the new class mastery. You have the Bastion of Light here. Sacred Ground now applies while you are in your own Nova, Spear Shards, Radial Sweep, Solar Barrage, stuff like that. So this thing always like goes off, and it kind of applies the Sacred Ground to you. So the Sacred Ground is like basically active all the time on you with this passive. But the real good thing here, like the thing that you really want, is the 3k health every second when this effect is active. Super, super strong. So you get the healing from restoring focus, right? Which is quite nice. It's like 2.5k usually in PvP. Then you're gonna get like 2.5k, 3k from this thing. Very nice every second. Then you have your resolving vigor. Then you have your burst damage, your burst heal. There's tons of healing on this build. You will feel pretty tanky. Just sitting in your runes, having all the heals up. I had multiple werewolves just like use me as a DPS dummy, and they couldn't get me down. Yeah, very strong healing this patch. So definitely this one. And then the second one that I've taken here is the Bright Harbinger. And basically what this does is when you use like Illuminate, you just gain 300 weapon spell damage, and it doubles for you. So you give 300 to your allies, and you yourself are getting 600, which is massive. 600 is absolutely massive. Let me show you the Illuminate. So casting a Dawn's Wrath ability grants minor sorcery. So you already get the minor sorcery here. And your Dawn's Wrath abilities are, you have Reflective Light, you have Solar Barrage, you have Purifying Light, right? So you get this all the time by just playing normally. And the Illuminate will give you the minor sorcery. And then on top of that, you'll get your 600 weapon spell damage. That's why this guy can stack so much weapon and spell damage. Because Templar is just insane like that. Templar is just insane. Anyway, moving on. Ultimate on the back bar, practiced incantation. You can run whatever you want here. I have this on, not so much for myself, but when I'm playing in a BG or even in Cyrodiil and EP kind of sucks again, they need it. You've seen EP play. They need the help. I can support them quite well by just popping this heal. This is gonna make you very hard to kill because you get a lot of health every second, and you're gonna massively just support your group that you're playing in by just making them basically not have to care about really dying for like 8 seconds. It's very strong. It's also fairly cheap for how strong it is. And one thing I want to mention, like, this is of course not a perma prayer build. You could definitely make a perma prayer build this patch. If you've seen them, you know what I'm talking about. But one thing I wanted to mention is the last sentence here on this thing. If you're at full health after being healed from this effect while in combat, you gain 2 ultimate. So once a second, you gain 2 ultimate. You're standing in your heal, your full health. So what that means is you can generate a lot of ultimate quickly. So sometimes I just, I make sure all my ultimate gen is running. I light attack. I stand in the rune. right? And I pop the practice incantation, and I just stand there. And because I'm getting so much heals, my health is always full basically, and I'm getting the 2 ultimate here, which means once I'm done with my practice incantation, I already have almost enough ultimate back to just, you know, go for like an everlasting sweep. So you're gonna generate a lot of ultimate on this build, and you're not even built for it. Like if you really wanted an ult gen Templar build this patch, super easy to do, and you're gonna be very strong because like Templar ultimate's very cheap, and you know there's plenty of ways of like either making your ultimates cheaper or increasing your ult gen. So if that's something you want to do, super easy to do. Anyway, that's the skills. Let's look at the champion points real quick. Green Tree, as always, Gifted Rider, Warmount, Sustaining Shadows, and Steed's Blessing. On the blue side, Fighting Finesse, Backstabber, Cleansing Revival. I don't know if I like it. I put it on because I hear a lot about it. So I was like, you know what, let's put it on. I probably would just go for more damage, to be honest. But hey, you know, people say this is bugged, this goes off all the time. Actually didn't. I didn't notice it go off all the time. I don't know. But yeah, just wanted to try it. Probably works fine. It is what it is. But honestly, if you're not sure about it, just build for damage. And then the last one here is Master at Arms. And then when it comes to the Red Tree, Boundless Vitality, Fortified, Sustained by Suffering, and Pain's Refuge. Pain's Refuge, again, technically another 20% damage mitigation on top of your already existing 25% damage mitigation. So makes you very, very tanky. Sustained by Suffering, just a little bit extra sustain here. Making sure you can stay in the fight. Keep casting your abilities. Fortified, of course, extra armor. And then your extra health. And that's pretty much it. That's the build. I really like playing this thing. The second I put it together and I ran into PvP with this thing, I was kind of impressed by how well it plays. It has a lot of damage. It has a lot of heals. The sustain is great. And yeah, overall, this thing just works. So super easy to build too. If you have the torc, put it on. Make sure your armor weights and the, you know, the traits and the enchants are correct. And that's pretty much it. And you're good to go. You don't have to mess around with any other gear. That's it. Give it a try. Really like this build. Very strong Templar. And yeah, if you like it, let me know down in the comments below. Subscribe. Like the video, and come back the next time. I'll see you then. Take it easy. Bye-bye. Chivalry 2? No. No, I do want specifically the MMO experience. Oh, hey, look at this. Werewolves. That's new. This guy's just fucking streak spamming. Dude, swap the weapon. I'm just stuck on the wrong bar. Quickly now! Yeah, I miss the MMO experience. It's like everybody's like kind of trying to stay away from MMOs these days. There's like games like Soulframe and RuneScape. What's it called? Dragon Wilds. They're like, they look good, but they're not MMOs, so they don't have the stuff that I really want. And they don't have the PvP. They don't have the large populated areas where you see other people and stuff. Everybody's like afraid of doing MMOs these days. Except me, I'm not afraid. I'm making an MMO. And boy is it going well. People love it. Because people crave that. They crave that old school MMO. Ooh, I'm gonna die here. Yeah, we're kind of dominating this one again. Kind of dominating this one. Is that my damage that just kills them so fast, or is that someone else hitting them? Sometimes I just can't tell. I'm doing so much freaking damage to them. I mean, I'm seeing like 3k jab ticks, which is pretty nasty if you ask me. Oh, dude, what am I stuck on? Of course I had to get stuck on this shit. That keep the defense was sick. I don't remember. I don't remember. What was I playing? The Warden? Oh, dude, the skills are so sticky sometimes. Oh, great. Great. I popped the fucking healing ultimate to help the guy, and my guy just, I don't know if he died or if he just streaked out or something. He just instantly disappeared as soon as I popped the ultimate. Oh yeah, that. Yeah, they just, I don't know what that was all about. They were like making such a big fucking fuss about being in that keep. and then they just fucking literally jumped jumped out of it. I couldn't believe it, man. That was rough. I don't know why they just fucking chased me like that. I didn't think it was gonna work. I thought maybe one guy, but that they like would all chase me off the wall on a repaired keep. Well, I mean, it is what it is. I'm glad it worked, but I didn't expect it to work. Oh, man. Fucking wolves with their fucking healing all the time. Yeah, you're not living that. The capture point moved! Oh, fuck off. Don't do this to me. That didn't hit him? It was never a contest.
Victorious, as usual.
43 kills on that guy. My god. How do you even get 43 kills? I don't even think I've seen the enemies 43 times.